Welcome, Bawan. We will give a couple of minutes to allow more people to join us, and then we can make a start.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Hello?
Hi, is that Ben?
Yes, it is. How are you?
Thank you for joining us, Ben.
Thanks. And it was nice catching up with you today too. Thanks.
Calzan, nice to of you to join us today.
Thanks very much. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the opportunity too. And
It's a
hello,
pleasure.
everyone. Thanks.
Thanks, Professor. It's a great honor. It's a great honor to join you today.
Thank you. Stephen, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Sorry, I just disappeared to close the curtains because there's too much natural light behind me.
Yes, I've had to look for a better spot in the house to avoid that experience.
I'm not actually at home at the moment. I'm in a hotel in Manchester Airport because I'm meeting international students on arrival.
Oh, I'm sure you have plenty to tell us. It's a very interesting time. Agni, can you update us? How many people?
We have 19 participants right now.
Okay. So it is 3 minutes past 4. I suggest we give them 2 more minutes and we start at 5 past 4.
أحسن. لا موجود أنا سجل شويهم موجود.
Do we have Dr. Gamal, Mohammed Gamal?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here, Dr. Mohammed.
Ahlan,
sorry, I'm in a strange setting, so I'm not joining with the camera today. I'm sorry about that.
That's fine. It's nice to have you today.
Thank you very much. And it's lovely to be here with everybody and with Dr. Hamid.
Thank you. Okay, I suggest we make a start, and I'm sure some colleagues will join us as we progress. To start with, great welcome to all today for joining us in this conference. It's a pleasure to have you all, and thank you very much for finding the time in your busy schedules to join us today. I think it is safe to say good afternoon to everyone because it's probably it's good evening in Iraq now. So again, welcome again, and thank you for joining us. We have a busy agenda, and we have really a great collection of colleagues and supporters of this agenda. I will invite colleagues to introduce themselves, but it would give me one by one, but it would give me great pleasure to hand over first to Baroness Nicholson to welcome you all on behalf of the IBBC. Baroness Nicholson?
Unmute, yes, thank you very much. Does that work, Mohammed?
Yes,
Good.
yeah, really.
Well,
really
I'm very, very happy to be at this launch and indeed to declare it open. It's a very important effort under the auspices of the Iraq-Britain Business Council. Iraq has had many, many thousands, hundreds of thousands of students through British universities, and it is particularly that as Iraqi students and professionals and those who have qualified return to Iraq, that they retain those links. On top of that, question of university to university, it's a question of using this wonderful talent to bring it into the world of work and the world of business and industry. So this also help alumni in integrating and learning about businesses between Britain and Iraq. And of course, finally, there is opportunity of integrating many of these students into the businesses which form part of the Iraq-Britain Business Council. So very much indeed, and most particularly thank the Ministry of Higher Education for Iraq, who have been very, very kind in supporting the initiative. I'm most grateful, and I believe that Mohammed Al-Usri and Christophe Michel himself will make alumni a real living partnership of all of us, and that it will have a life which will extend many, many years ahead and be beneficial to all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Baroness Nicholson, for your kind words and welcome and ongoing support to the relationship between Iraq and Britain. That's wonderful. As Baroness Nicholson have mentioned, this work really will not progress far without the support of the Ministry of Higher Education. And it is a real pleasure and honor to have Professor Ahmed with us today on behalf of the ministry. Professor Hamid, a few words before we move into the agenda where you will expand a little bit more about it, but just the opportunity to welcome everybody.
Thank you very much, Professor Mohammed Al-Usri, and thanks also for my dear friend, Baroness Emma Nicholson, for opening speech and for the hard work that she did for Iraq in trade and in education. Also, I would like to thank all the colleagues from British universities who spare time to come along and talk to their counterparts in Iraqi universities. This initiative actually is a very important one, and we look forward to get our students who spend times in British universities to keep that links with their mother universities in Iraq and open a channel that facilitate the cooperation between these two institutions and ultimately between Britain and Iraq in the education sector. If I may turn, Professor Mohammed, to address my Iraqi colleagues in Arabic, it will only highlight the objectives of this initiative. I might just say a few words in Arabic, but it will be all actually your objectives of the initiative. الأخوة الأعزاء في الجامعات العراقية، أتمنى أن يكون إخواننا ويانا جامعة بغداد، البصرة، الأنبار، تكريت، الكوفة، النهرين، ابن سينا، المجلس العراقي للاختصاصات الطبية. أنا ما أدري بالحقيقة كم من إخواننا موجودين ويانا على البلاتفورم. ما أدري، نقدر نسأل السؤال هذا، منو موجود ويانا من الجامعات العراقية؟
دكتور من الجامعة التكنولوجية موجود.
منو حضرتك؟
دكتور غسان.
دكتور غسان. وبعد منو عندنا؟ زياد.
دكتور زياد يوسف من الجامعة التكنولوجية أيضا.
نعم.
دكتورة إسراء الدجيلي كلية الطب جامعة الكوفة.
أهلا وسهلا أختي الفاضلة. بعد
دكتور أحمد السبعاوي من جامعة نينوى.
أهلا وسهلا أستاذنا الفاضل.
دكتور عبد الجليل من جامعة الفرات الأوسط التقنية.
أهلا وسهلا دكتور عبد الجليل. بعد.
حياك الله دكتور.
قصي الغالبي من جامعة القادسية.
أهلا وسهلا دكتور.
وعد رئيس جامعة تكريت.
ماكو عندنا رؤساء جامعات؟
دكتور وعد رئيس جامعة تكريت.
أهلا وسهلا دكتور وعد.
عزيزي.
خير إن شاء الله. أنا أدري أن
عندنا دكتور مهند العتابي بس عنده مشكلة بالصوت من جامعة واسط.
وحتى عندنا دكتور منير على أساس أن دز لي هسه couple of message دا يحاول ريجستر بس ما أدري شنو المشكلة يعني نقول دا يحاول.
العفو دكتور. ومعك دكتورة عايدة أيضا من جامعة واسط.
أهلا وسهلا دكتورة.
أهلا شكرا. أهلا دكتور.
نعم وياك دكتور حيدر قسام من جامعة الكوفة كلية الطب.
أهلا وسهلا دكتور. أهلا وسهلا بكم. شكرا جزيلا أخواني على هذا الحضور والفكرة بالحقيقة بشكل مبسط حول هذه الشبكة المهنية لخريجي الجامعات البريطانية السابقين والعاملين حاليا في الجامعات العراقية. الفكرة بالحقيقة أخواني هو تعزيز التعاون بين الجامعات العراقية والمؤسسات العراقية الأخرى مع الجامعات البريطانية اللي تخرجوا منها، وكذلك المصانع العراقية ذات العلاقة. يعني إذا كان خريجي الجامعات البريطانية اشتغلوا بالأكاديمية أو اشتغلوا بالاندستري داخل العراق، هذا البلاتفورم بالحقيقة هو يساعد على هذا اللينك. هسه جت لي هم رسالة من دكتور حيدر رئيس مجلس التخصصات الطبية يقول ماذا أقدر جوين. على كل حال
إذا تحب دكتور
الفكرة بالحقيقة
أبعث لك نبعث لك اللينك مرة ثانية إنه تسوي له فورورد.
والله أنا عندي موجود اللينك هسه أسوي لهم فورورد بس أخلص هالكلمتين ثلاثة وأسوي لهم أحاول فورورد لهم. الفكرة إخواني هو تعزيز قلنا التعاون وأيضا التواصل مع مراكز الأبحاث، خلق بيئة بحثية تشاركية مع المؤسسات البريطانية. الفكرة حتى نرصن البحث العلمي وأيضا يساعد جامعاتنا بالتالي إلى الرانكينج التصنيفات العالمية. أيضا هذا البلاتفورم راح يسهل لنا أن نعقد ورش عمل داخلية وخارجية حتى نوصل إلى أهداف الشبكة اللي هو هذا السترونج لينك ويا الأكاديمية ويا الاندستري. أيضا الأخوان في الاي بي بي سي مشكورين بالحقيقة بالأفر مالتهم العرض أنه يسوون السكرتارية التنفيذية لمتابعة هذا النشاط. ويمكن دكتور محمد الأزري يلقي لنا بعض الملاحظات بعدين على الستراكشر أو على الميكانيزم شلون فولو أب. بس هو الفكرة أنه نسوي لونش هسه لهذا المشروع مع الاي بي بي سي. الغرض منه بالحقيقة هو اللينك بين جامعاتنا وبين الجامعات البريطانية من خلال الجروب مال Alumni. فأتمنى بالحقيقة أن يكون هذا التعاون مثمر مثل ما صار التعاون بشهر 10 إذا يذكر الدكتور محمد السنة الماضية قد ما سوينا ووركشوب في الوزارة، وأيضا عدد من رؤساء الجامعات ومساعديهم حضروا. هذه الفكرة بالحقيقة هي لزيادة هذا اللينك بين جامعاتنا والجامعات البريطانية. أنا عند هذا الحد دكتور محمد أنتهي ونسمح لاخواننا الالومناي شنو اللي عندهم، ونشوف الاي بي بي سي ايضا شنو عندهم، والجامعات البريطانيه شنو عندها. شكرا جزيلا دكتور.
شكرا جزيلا دكتور حامد. Thank you very much for your ongoing support and really your wise words that guide us in this endeavor. I will start with some housekeeping notes just for everybody to be aware. So we're aiming this, we have blocked 2 hours for approximately for this conference, and we'll see how the discussion goes on. It will be recorded and will be available on the IBBC website shortly after the meeting. The microphone will be muted during the meeting when one of our colleagues, when the panels are presenting. But there will be opportunity for asking questions. If you can always make a note in the chat if any comments, or if you want to ask a question, and we have colleagues who are monitoring the chat, and we will attend to them in the discussion. The questions will be answered towards the end of the presentations. As you can see from the agenda, we have contribution obviously from the ministry represented by Professor Hamid, and then we will have here from our universities, the member of the group, that will tell us about their opportunities, their collaboration with Iraq. And then we will have also presentation from a couple of businesses in the Iraq-Britain Business Council to talk about their perspective. And then we will have the alumni, an example of alumni achievements, and hopefully following that we'll have discussion and recommendation. So before I go any further, again, behind all this, the work, there is a really very supportive people. We have a team in the IBBC who are really making this happen. And if on behalf of the team in the IBBC, if I would like to invite Christoph to say a few words welcoming the participants.
Mohammed, thank you very much. I'm delighted that we are eventually getting to this meeting. We've been planning for it for over a year now, and for various reasons it didn't happen. But for a long time now, I think since we started IBBC, we realized that what our businesses, be they Iraqi or British or international, require in Iraq to flourish is the right workforce, with the right mindset. And I think that this network in time could be hugely beneficial for the private sector in Iraq. And I know it's a big challenge because most of the brightest Iraqi students end up working for government. But having come from the UK, I'm sure all of you will have seen the merit of working for the private sector in this country. And I think even if most Iraqi students that have graduated in the UK end up working for the government, they will be able to change the mentality within the government and within the Iraqi ministries to create a more private sector friendly environment. So I see this as a long-term goal for this network, and I'm quite confident that we will achieve it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christoph, and really appreciate all the support that we have enjoyed through yourself and teams like with John, with Agni, with Mohannad. You are the people behind the scenes that makes all this happening. So I'm both. It's a pleasure to work with you, and I'm really grateful for all the work that you are doing. If I move swiftly into the contribution from the universities, because I'm aware some of our colleagues might have some ongoing demands on their time. So if I invite Professor Jamal from Nottingham Trent University to share with us their perspective and their experience.
Thanks, Dr. Mohammed, and thanks for inviting us to the Alumni conference. I think really we appreciate our role in this avenue, and we appreciate IBBC role in bringing us together to discuss new approaches toward supporting Iraqi students, especially considering the current situation when the normal practices cease to exist or perhaps cease to operate in a normal manner. I think just perhaps you will hear more from my colleagues in other universities, but we are mostly now trying to work or search for alternative ways of engaging with our international students, especially with those from Iraq. And we had a number of instances where we are continuing to collaborate on a virtual ways with our colleagues and partners in Iraq. It's perhaps it's, I mentioned this in a previous meeting with Dr. Hamid, so it's nothing new to him that we have been working with a number of Iraqi universities on a number of research initiatives. And on the 20th of August, we ran the first international hub for research collaboration on heritage preservation with over 12 Iraqi universities. And the event was chaired by the Minister of Culture and the assistant to the Minister of Higher Education. And there was fantastic participation from academics from across Iraq. We are currently running a number of research projects, and we have started our at-distance PhD, which was actually is a kind of a part-time giving opportunity for external students from Iraq to join our PhD programs while still in Iraq, and giving them the option to come to the UK at any later stage in their studies. Number of other courses as well, we are trying to move online as much as we can, but still there is a number of schemes under development. This is in general and in a brief note.
Thank you very much, Professor Ahmed Jamal, for sharing with us. And really, this is an example of how can we keep the academic collaboration, because we know this is the strongest motive for developing research is when we have the academic collaboration. If I move to Newcastle with Mr. Stephen North to share with us your perspective and your on the Iraq collaboration and opportunities.
Hello there, and thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. It's a bit of a kind of restart this, because I remember being at about 5 years ago, an Iraqi alumni event, which was held down in London. And I think I had the honor of actually speaking at that event, although there's cameras on me, so maybe I was a bit more nervous than I am today. Also, great to see some of the people who I know who are Newcastle graduates here, so Zaid Al-Shabani, I think Inas, Mohamed, among others. Apologies if I've not spotted you, but good to see you here. I think for us as Newcastle University, being one of the kind of initial members of the British Universities Iraq Consortium, so BUIC, working with HCD about placing and trying to work with the Iraqi government about finding opportunities for both masters and PhD students, followed on by the Ministry of Higher Education with their scholarships. And having just been to the earlier session about women, empowerment of women in the kind of Middle East, I think it's always been noticeable about Iraq that the opportunities are not just been male dominated, it's been a combination of both male and female, maybe a bit more of an equal split in the future, but it's always been a good thing that Iraq has been kind of ahead of the curve with that, the transformative nature of education, and that has been at the kind of forefront. I think for ourselves, I know that some of the people are on the, some of our alumni are already in contact with their former alumni, former supervisors. They're in touch about setting up relationships, working on partnerships, working on special projects. Unfortunate things like COVID-19 and then obviously the security situation in Iraq's kind of put paid to some of that. But I don't think that kind of development's gone away. It's just been probably put into kind of a hold mode or a hibernation mode until the situation improves. And obviously, we were looking forward to the resumption of the HCD scholarships, and I think that amount have been put on hold as well in the current climate. So again, we're looking for things to be ramping up as we go into the future. I do think it's important for any student, whether if they've done a PhD, to retain their links with their supervisors. You spent such a great deal of time working with them and collaborating with them, perhaps even publishing journal articles during the course of your studies. And it would be ludicrous to actually just stop that communication when you go back. And it's through those kind of partnerships, through that networking, that we will go from strength to strength and look to build and do the capacity building in Iraq for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephen. And we are all aware of the good work that you have led over the years in strengthening the link with the Iraq through your support and your university support for Iraqi students when they are in Newcastle and really beyond Newcastle, your work through the Buick and other forums to support the Iraqi students. If I move to Mr. Adam Brown from Sheffield University, another university who is really heavily involved in supporting the scholarship schemes over the years. Adam?
Hello, everybody. Yeah, as mentioned earlier, I'm filling in for a colleague who's unfortunately ill today. So some of the finer details of our alumni engagement strategy within Iraq may escape me, but I do know quite well, and delighted to say that Sheffield has been a huge beneficiary of the academic strength of the research students that come out of Iraq. Over the years, we've had a really large academic community here, and both the city and the university has really benefited from it. And we've worked in partnership as well to help develop Iraq. We've sent academics over there to help develop medical schools in for probably around 20 years, helped initially support their medical needs. My connection's just going a bit sour at the moment, if you lose me. The alumni group at the moment are focused on delivering online webinars with alumni to engage them, to strengthen the groups that we have within the Middle East. And I know they're also extending that to Iraq at the moment. Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, Sheffield again, another
very poor connection.
Sorry. Sheffield University, another university who has really been very active in supporting, and in fact hosted more than one conference to for the Iraqi students when they were in the UK to present their research finding and from the degrees they were studying. And I think the conference was not just for the students in Sheffield, it was from across the country.
Yeah, I do believe that we had several, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. We are, some of our colleagues have some teaching commitment, and I'm hoping they will join us later on. So if I move into on the agenda to colleagues from who are members of the IBBC from the business community to share with us their perspective and any opportunities they feel would be relevant to the alumni, to the students who completed. I mean, they are not students anymore; they are doctors, and they completed their studies in the UK and returned back. And if I may invite Dr. Bawan Peshtawi to share with us from Sterling Education, to share with us their experience of working in Iraq and how do they see the opportunities going forward.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, everybody, for attending. And it's a privilege for us at Sterling Education to attend with you today. I could have been joined by my colleague Tim as well, but he's en route to a trip to the Middle East and perhaps Iraq as well. So he couldn't join us today. So what we have here at Sterling Education is actually a cohort of collaboration on education on a large scale, because we do happen to be one of the biggest chain of schools in Iraq as well, as we have 2 universities, private universities that we run, one of them which is based in Iraq. And for that, we see this as a tremendous opportunity for myself being Iraqi and for the collaboration we have with the United Kingdom. to the extent that we see there is the development on the scale of business, and that Iraqis are picking up on the international collaboration more than any time before, provided that there's be more support provided on the government side to actually recognize the efforts for the students and also the private sector and encourage more cohesion between both parts. Because with Iraq standing up, with Iraq getting better, with Iraq improving every day, there's a requirement for also more collaboration with the United Kingdom, especially on the education side, because that will ultimately lead to the side of recruitment and the booming of the business sector and the communication between both lines, because guess what? Everybody is in need of each other. As much as the Iraqi side needs the UK side will need the Iraqi's contribution from the other end. So it's always going to be a collaboration. And for Sterling Education, we see that opportunity on many range of our schools in the UK, our schools in Iraq, our university in Iraq, and our university in Europe, to see that there may be chances for recruitment on a variety of scales and levels, and perhaps through a powerful alumni that have a powerful communication through the government channels, and also through the IBBC that has always been the pillar of support for us trading from the UK all over to Iraq. There could be a strong, let's say, pool of talent, that this pool of talent could be sourced and looked at, for example, for recruiting educators who are returning back from the UK with such tremendous skills and abilities that could help the Iraqi community in a better way, as opposed to struggling to find jobs while translating what degrees they have back to the Iraqi side of things, because that's sometimes they would struggle with, and they would lose 6 months to 1 year of their times while getting the interpretation of what a UK university degree might mean in Iraq or not. So what we see that as an opportunity, and especially this platform as a greater opportunity for supporting the Iraqi youth and the Iraqi academics and the graduates in line with what the business support and the business line will stand with. And that comes at all costs and all lines, including chances for recruitment and internship in the UK. For example, the ability to offer students studying, Iraqi students studying in the UK, to be able to do internships with many of the businesses like ourselves that are members with IBBC. We would gladly onboard such people who have talents in certain relevant areas and who'd want to gain more experience in those areas that they would find skillful for themselves. And also when they return back to Iraq, to gain on that collaboration, whether that would be in the area of private sector recruitment or in the area of collaborative research, as we run that through our Sterling Foundation. And finally, I would like to say in a few sentences that the more understanding we get through this is we hope that the government will be able to pick this up and also facilitate the relationship between the businesses and also facilitate their work for the Iraqis, so there may be a larger link and a stronger and a powerful one. Until then, we would be encouraging the Iraqi students to look on to what is, and this has been mentioned earlier today, what is beyond government-based recruitment, because the private sector would always be welcoming skills that are brought back from the UK in Iraq, whether that is through institutions like ourselves who are delivering British education in Iraq, or other local institutions who are looking for skills that have been acquired on a certain standard of scale. So I hope this platform can lead to create that bridge, that unity, that platform, that empowerness to empower both the Iraqi academics and graduates from the UK who return back to Iraq to gain such opportunities, and for us, for business people in the Iraq and the UK, to see those opportunities and to gain benefits from their talents and from their skills. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bawan. It's really very well said in terms of echoing the message, the clear messages from Professor Hamid and Christoph. It's really, we see it at the IBBC and its leadership see its duty to develop the skill base and especially human resource within Iraq to have the mutual benefit for, like you said, it's not just for the British side with the companies, with the business coming, but also for the Iraqi side to make sure that there is a mutual benefit for both communities. Thank you. If I move into another member of the IBBC, Uni House, represented by Ben Mosaic. If you would like to share with us your perspective, your business perspective, and any opportunity that you feel relevant to this forum.
Thanks, Professor. I'd appreciate the time that you made for us today, and I'm so proud that we're a member of IBBC, and I just greet everyone here on this platform. I'm filling in for Mr. Aus today. He can't make it. He's got a commitment, so I'm just I've put on a few slides. If you can allow me, Professor, to share my screen.
Yes, please. Yeah. Agnes, can you help, please?
All right. I've just shared it. Can you confirm you can see what I can see now?
Yes.
Presentation. All right. Okay. So it's a quick presentation that just summarizes who UniHouse is and what we do. I'm going to go over what we do, who we are, our future clients, and what our achievements in Iraq are, and who we are partners with, and what we could do to help the alumni of the Iraqis who've studied or are studying now in the UK to stay connected, as Professor Ahmed said, just to keep it an effective and active platform. In a bit now, just what's UniHouse? We are just an international education training and consultancy, and we are a UK company established in 1993. We have offices in South Korea, in Jordan, in Iraq, and now in Turkey. We've been in the education and training sector for so long that we have let's say, designed a set of services that could actually help a wide range of professionals, corporations, organizations, and governmental agencies. So what do we technically do? We just support oil and gas companies to achieve their goals and grow globally. Not only this, but also we work with governments on a higher educational level, just the Ministry of Higher Education, to build local capacities through creating competent and skillful workforce. And that's what my colleague from Sterling Education said, that skills are really important now. Qualifications are put second, skills are put first now, making sure that we have soft skills and hard skills just to make sure that professionals are doing well at work, and that will create some kind of sustainability in their workplace. We do contribute to the whole market and employment reduction. So what do we do in specific? We provide technical and managerial training through the years since 2000, since 1993. We have we've been working on a cumulative through our experienced instructors and consultants. We have put together a book of training programs, working with 8,000 trainees. We took their feedback from them, and based upon their feedback, we came up with this course catalog that we can use that caters for power, supply chain, technical training, and soft skills and hard skills in the oil and gas industry. In addition to that, we work in the education sector. We had a contract with BP to send their employees through the Ministry of Oil and Education to send them to the UK. So we have developed with our partner IDP, the International Development Program, we have developed a platform through which we could assist all candidates from the beginning, starting from pre-qualification, pre-application to universities, all the way till the end, till they graduated and back to their home safe and sound. In addition to that, we do provide services in the ELT industry, starting from general English courses, business English, English for specific purposes, and prep classes for our IELTS testing center. Moving on, so who are our clients? We have a cluster of clients that we're proud that we have been catering for. We got the Ministry of Oil, the Iraqi Ministry of Oil, ADNOC in the UAE, Aramco in Saudi Arabia, Gazprom, Lukoil, PetroChina, and the list goes on and on. Moving on to what we've achieved in Iraq. Proudly, we are the only recognized education partner to the BOC. This is our recognition letter stating that, in addition to that, we have placed 420 students in the UK and US on a stretch of time between 2015 to 2020. In addition to that, all over 5 years, let's say, in 5 years, we have trained 4,500 trainees in different sectors such as operations, management, exploration, building Iraq technical backbone. And moving on, who are our partners? We are partners with IDP, which stands for the International Development Program, that has offices in more than 30 countries, I'm sorry. And we as well are an IELTS testing center in Jordan. We deliver the IELTS testing, the widely accepted test for university admissions. So what can we do now? What can we offer the alumni? We have a concept that through the platform that we've done with IDP, we could assist on creating the alumni platform, starting from the design, the management, and the maintenance, where alumni can all get on that platform just to stay connected, to know what's happening, to receive announcements. Of course, we can create this platform based upon the needs analysis that we will create and throughout the input from the stakeholders. So we are happy to contribute, and if you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to try to address them. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Ben. It's really very helpful of you to come in and share with us today your
welcome. Thanks.
Company perspective. As you've seen, that I'm moving rather flexibly between the agenda just to accommodate colleagues who I know they have a lot of demands on their time. But if I may go back into another member of the IBBC who happened to be a university as well. And it's a pleasure to welcome my friend, really, Dr. Adil Shabazz, to share with us their Northampton University perspective. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Mohammed. I appreciate that, and thank you very much for the IBBC to establish this conference and meet the alumni. We really miss you here in the UK. Hopefully to see you again in another program. Let me just summarize what Northampton see this initiative about the alumni. We started working with the Iraqi in general at the University of Northampton 10 years ago. We have different program. We established a twinning program in the undergraduate, and then we moved to the postgraduates then. And also we have a staff development, multiple of staff development in Iraq and in the UK, such workshops. Many times we did that. And then we have a sabbatical period program we did, and it was very successful. We had a very, very excellent publication out of it and established further projects. And then finally, we had a program which is a unique, and I'm proud of it. We call it, it's a PhD joint supervision. It means we have now a PhD student in Northampton, and their supervisor from UK and one from Iraq. And if we can do another one, this is the only, to the best of my knowledge, at the PhD level, this is the only program now is currently, and I'm keen if we can replicate that in another UK university and for another Iraqi PhD student to come here. They come here for 2 years and they come back to Iraq for 2 years, and they do their viva, they submit their thesis here, and they do their viva here in the UK, and they received a UK degree. But the whole idea is is to establish this link through the PhD supervision. My recommendation is if we will do that again, to allow to the alumni to be the supervisor, because they know the system, they can help and they can be active in this perspective, and we can build more projects further. So if this is something I would like to share in another occasion. We don't have time now, but that's something. If the Ministry of Higher Education, it's a cost effective, because the Ministry of Higher Education, they pay only for 2 years salary, and that's a 50% in advance. So if we have a problem, or if we have a limited resources, which we had this problem, we can use this model, and I can share that with the UK Institute to replicate that for the benefit of Iraqis. But the key to make it successful is, as I mentioned, I will repeat that again, the alumni will be the supervisor, at least on the first round, to have a successful story. My last point is about the UK alumni and our relationship with Iraq. I would like also the Ministry of Higher Education to revise the UK university list, which is recommended by the Ministry of Higher Education. It means reduction. There's a massive reduction to 60 university. But my opinion is UK universities. There is a QAA agency. They are working. We are working under their umbrella, and they make sure that the quality is high. So I can assure that any UK university is better than many universities worldwide, even if they are top in their league. So that's also there. The other point I would like to stress is that we are here to help. So Northampton is active because there are some Iraqi colleagues. Leicester is active, is the same. And I can't mention another, Brunel, Cardiff. They are active. Newcastle, they are active because there are Iraqi who would like to maintain that. I'm not saying that the British colleagues who already, they are working hard, but there are the successful stories we can tell because of there is a group of Iraqis originally from Iraq, academic, who would like willing to do that. Sorry, probably I took more than the time, but that is the point which I would like to share, and I hope we can make a successful steps from this alumni conference through the IBBC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Ali. It's a really one of the things that we, as I mentioned earlier, we want from this conference is a clear recommendation to support the Ministry of Higher Education in making best use of those skilled kind of workforce that are available to the country. Moving into our next speaker, and I have to declare an interest here. He is a fellow graduate of my university, so I'm not really making a very special treatment, but I have to mention that. And he is also giving us the perspective from our beloved northern part of the country. Dr. Calzan Karim, would you like to share with us your perspective, please?
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And I would like to thank IBBC for continuous support for Iraq and bringing the two countries together to work in a sustainable relationship, and particularly education, because we know for the fact that the Iraqi education system is orientated in such a way, is a British orientated way. So, and I hope that will continue, but to continue this, we need put a bit of summit in there and looking for a sustainable relationship. I'm glad that we have got a few universities in there. And in my capacity, I spend around, I think 15 15 years at the University of Leicester. So I think that kind of thing is, I'm back now. I've been in Erbil for only 3 months with a new position. I think I will do my best to solidify that relationship, and because at the moment I have got the official title. I hope I can share you later. I don't know whether I can share. I hope not going to be advertised. So I'm the senior advisor for the Prime Minister in the Kurdistan Regional Government for the education and higher education. So, and I am trying my best, and in the last 3 months, I've written another thesis. So I've written almost 300 pages about how, but some of them have been implemented, so made me happy to continue work harder, and some of them been rejected. But we will keep going. And I hope that your support, and particularly, you don't know the value of you being here today. That single university in this support to the region will make a huge difference. I will give you one example of today. So we know we have got a bit of conflict between the two regional, like we say the Iraq, but I mean, there is a central government and a regional government. It is a fact. And they were like, the delegation from the region was all from students from the UK. So there was a good mutual understanding. So even the people who going back to the government, they have got a good understanding. They work together. Not only the people who go back to at the university level to work together. And I'm hoping today we can bring a message that we can work together, we can build things together, we can work as a team to produce a sustainable relationship, because that's what we need. Particularly higher education will play a great role. And I hope that I can be a part of this. And I'm happy anyone to contact me, and IBC has got my contact detail. I'm happy and we have got like in our region, we have got around 10 government universities, and we have got around 11 or 12 private universities. But overall, I mean, with Professor Uzri, we work through all. It's good that all universities, they love to work together. And we have seen it. We have seen it now we work it with the North universities, with South, with the Middle. So that environment, it hope that we can make it, because the place to start, the working collaboration and working as a team for Iraq, I think the higher education. And I'm hoping that, and I'm in the near future, I'm hoping to travel to Baghdad and meet His Excellency, the Minister of the Higher Education and Research, and his team. And then, so far, unfortunately, I have not met our minister, because he was he got the virus and he stayed at home more than a month and a half. So I've been here only for 3 months, but hopefully he was on the duty. Today was Thursday, and I'm hoping that we can work together, and the more people we can work together, the better we can build together. And that's my message today.
Thank you very much.
Great pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have you today. And I think, like you said, science goes beyond any boundaries or any kind of differences and so on. And if I can use this word, let science and education bring us together and strengthen our links. Thank you again. If I may move, this whole conference, this gathering, this really blessed gathering, is all about the alumni. And I would like to hear from them today about an example. And I don't think we will do justice to the many good examples across the country and across the UK that came, studied here and returned back. But this is just a flavor. And if I may share something with you from my own university, and it had its own more than fair share of doctors, of PhD students, sorry, who graduated and went back. The percentage of completion of their studies for postgraduate students that came to Leicester University for the Iraqi students is higher than the native students. This is the level of skill and potential and capacity that there is available to our reach to make full use of it. With that note, I would like to invite Dr. Mohammed Ahmed Sabawi, who is a lecturer in electronics engineering from Nineveh University, to share with us some part of his journey.
Thank you so much. And good evening, everyone. I'm so honored and pleased to be here among you and to take this opportunity to speak about our experience and perspective about being graduated from UK universities and coming back to home country. My name is Ahmed Sabawi. I have BSc and MSc in electrical and engineering from Mosul University. And I had my PhD degree in electrical and electronics engineering from Newcastle University in 2015. I'm currently working as a lecturer at Nineveh University in Mosul, Iraq. After my graduation in 2015 from Newcastle University, I was appointed as a teaching assistant at master level in 2015. Then I joined Lancaster University as a research associate from 2015 to 2017. Then I went back to Newcastle University to join the university as a KTP associate from 2017 to 2018. And when we started our academic career in the UK, we established a scientific research work, and we established a wide network with colleagues and researchers in the UK. We also built up many skills that need to be developed and sustained. And I think in order to maintain such research collaboration with UK universities and with our colleagues and friends and other researchers in the UK, I would suggest the following suggestions. First of all, I would suggest to facilitate and support joining postgraduate or postdoc programs in the UK universities whenever the opportunity is available, of course. And this is so important for us to maintain the links that we already established in the UK. Another point I would suggest is allowing graduated students or alumni students to be eligible for the 5-year leave that the ministry is providing for this academic staff in the Iraqi universities. And of course, by keeping our scholarship contract commitment, this has no effect on the commitment, our commitment towards the ministry or towards our universities. One important point that I suggest is organizing the mechanism of managing international grants, which is still complicated today. We all know the importance of getting research grants to both the researcher himself or the university, and also to the country actually, which will significantly help in producing high quality publications and paid patents. Thus, I think this point is need to be paid attention by the ministry. One last point I would talk about is the official date of graduation should be the same date when the degree is awarded by the UK university, not the date of approval by the ministry. All of us, when we get graduated from the UK, when we come back to Iraq, we have to get an equalization or approval by the ministry, which might take a couple of weeks or in some cases few months. So far the ministry are considering that the official date of degree is the date of approval, not the awarded degree, the data on the awarded degree by the UK University. So I would say that this will be so helpful and useful for us if the Ministry of Higher Education reconsider the points that I already mentioned in my speech. Their suggestion. That's all I have, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed. And as I mentioned earlier, our director, our office director in Baghdad is making notes on of all the recommendations that being made, so we can compile them together and submit them to the ministry on the conclusion of the conference. We started from the north of Iraq and we move swiftly south to the south of Iraq and exactly to our beloved Basra to hear from Dr. Inas Aboud, who has a PhD in nanochemistry and a lecturer at the University of Basra. Dr. Inas?
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today on this respectable platform. Actually, my name is Inas Aboud. I've got my BSc from Basra University, 2004. And my master degree was also from Basra University, but I've got, fortunately, I've got my PhD from Newcastle University at 2018. Currently working as a researcher at Polymer Research Center, University of Basra. And also I'm working as a lecturer at Basra University for oil and gas. Actually, I have also, we faced a lot of problems when we got back to Iraq. One of them, we'd like to have a connection with our colleagues. As you know, we've started research, and as a PhD student, the research will never end, and it will be branched. So we've got a grant from RSC, from UK, and we couldn't contact them after we going back to Iraq. This is like one of my major problem I faced. So I've left my work, and my colleague, they've like work instead of me, and they publish my own work. So this is one of the problem I faced. Actually, also, one of the problem also I've got here, and I'd like to pay attention, or is having like a post degree, like a postdoc. Hello.
Yeah, I think we might be with technology, yeah, with community.
Hello.
Hi, Dr. Inas. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, actually, we've got a grant, and when I was like a PhD student, I've got a prizes, like a prize on my research. And when I got back, I've lost everything. I couldn't contact again. I couldn't like doing the current work. As you know, I am a chemist, so we need like a lab, and we need to be physically in the lab to do work. So we couldn't travel easily. This is one of the problems we faced after we going back. So we hope like we could like going back to our university, doing like collaborating again, having postdoc, just like to have a benefit also for our country.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Inas. Having traveled from the north to the south, I think we have to settle somewhere in the middle. So we'll invite Dr. Isra Dujaili from Kufa University to share with us her part of her journey. Doctora. So is Dr. Isra available?
Hello, sorry.
Yeah, Dr.
Hello.
Isra, can you?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm just planning to share my screen if possible, please.
Yeah, Agni, please.
Just before I get started, I'd like to express my gratitude to IBBC for giving us this opportunity to talk about achievements today. Can I share my screen now?
Please.
Yeah. Yeah, so let me introduce myself. I'm gonna give you a little or mini talk today about our achievements in Iraq. My name is Isra Al-Dujali. I'm a graduate from the University of Leicester. I have a PhD in molecular pathology. And I have a nice and successful story during my study in the UK. I got some prizes, a couple of prizes. One of them was the first prize in a competition between 6 universities, another one from Vienna. So my publication went to 2 important journals, one of them from the University of Oxford. And the second part is now on its way to Nature Review, as my supervisor sent me an email a few days ago. So this successful story in the UK inspired me to do something in my country, in Iraq. Currently, I'm working as a lecturer at the Faculty of Medicine, University of Kufa. I'm going to talk about the challenge of holding an international conference in Iraq. This conference was a suggestion by me in one of the meetings with the president of the University of Kufa. And at that time, my target was to encourage our colleagues who graduated from different universities from the UK to come along in a big hall and to share ideas. Moreover, to attract scientists and speakers from the UK and Europe to meet our researchers, and for sure to work together to make some business in Iraq by collaboration with different companies and investors. After I got the green light from the president of the University of Kufa, I directly contacted my colleague, Dr. Ziad al-Shabbani, who worked with me to organize the conference. So we were able to, by our teamwork, to overcome lots of financial, technical, scientific, and much more challenges to hold this international conference in Iraq. And after 1 year of hard work, we were able to get a financial support for our conference with about $30,000 by collaboration with different companies and institutions, national and international institutions and companies. Furthermore, we got an excellent technical support. We got a unique technical support by a technical program committee from the United States, United Kingdom, and Germany. Also, we were able to attract distinguished speakers from the USA, the UK, Germany, Lebanon, Oman, and from Iraq. We hold, international workshops, publish the paper submitted to that journal in a journal, to that conference in a journal indexed by Clarivate Analytics. So the mission accomplished, and after that we put several outcomes that we're still working on and hoping to accomplish some of these outcomes. So this is our little successful story in spite of all the challenges that we faced in Iraq when we came back. And we spotted some barriers that we think we may work together with the Ministry of Higher Education, inshallah, to overcome these challenges, and most of these challenges, related to the challenge that we face in holding the conference. We found there are no terms and conditions to receive and manage international funds and grants. Also, we found the legislations of the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research are not meeting our aspirations as a graduate from the UK to develop the research field and go further for applied research that could improve the future of Iraq in different fields. So hopefully we can work together to overcome all these challenges and to change the mentality of the ministry, inshallah, in the future, to make better future for both countries, inshallah. Thank you for your attention. That's all what I have today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Isra. I can fully identify, because I remember this issue about the funding and the collaboration was raised when we had the workshop last year that Professor Hamid has kind of facilitated, organized for us. And it is a real challenge to because there are some donors, there are collaboration that can take place. And the question is that, do we have the right framework for those grants, for those funding arrangement to be used in Iraq? And that was a challenge. So some of the universities came up with quite innovative techniques to deal with this issue. But I think, like, I agree with you, it needs to be clarified and made available to everybody to make use of the opportunities that available within the academic world and beyond, even with the business world, to facilitate academic collaboration. I am mindful there are some of my colleagues are already and some of the alumni present today. We have, are there any of the colleagues want to come up with any points or contribution before we open into the wider discussion? I don't know if any of the presidents of the Iraqi universities would like to contribute or join us. Sorry, I will speak in Arabic if that's okay.
Yes, it's okay.
الدعوة مفتوحة إلى السادة رؤساء الجامعات العراقية إذا أي مشاركة أو طرح يحبون يساهمون به.
يمكن عندنا دكتور واحد فقط من جامعة تكريت.
يس. نعم دكتور حامد، السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام، أهلا. إذا تفضل دكتور واحد، إذا عندك أي ملاحظات أو أي.
Okay, دكتور. Can I speak in Arabic or?
اللي عجبك دكتور، اللي رايحك.
اوكي دكتور، اوكي. السلام عليكم دكتور محمد، كيف الحال؟
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
شكرا جزيلا على هاي الدعوة دكتور، واتشرف بحضرتك وبالاخوان المتكلمين.
الله يحفظك.
ممكن استعين باخوي لان خريج احد الجامعات البريطانية.
اي نعم. تفضل.
يعني حتى الاودينس يعني يكونون على اطلاع بالنقاط اللي راح يتحدث بها، افضل من ان نتحدث باللغه العربيه. ممكن؟
ما عندنا كل مشكله، وحتى اذا حبيت تتكلم بالعربيه عندنا ناس، عندنا ممكن نترجم الى اللغه الانجليزيه اذا تحب، باللي يريحك دكتور.
اوكي دكتور، انا ثبتتها بس راح اتحدث اذا بالعربيه.
اي تفضل تفضل.
شكرا دكتور، شكرا دكتور. حقيقه انا انتهز الفرصه للحديث عن جامعه تكريت. جامعة تكريت هي إحدى الجامعات العراقية العريقة واللي تضم 22 كلية كليات المجموعة الطبية والهندسية والعلوم والكليات الزراعية، وفيها أكثر من 25,000 طالب بالدراسات الأولية و5,000 طالب بالدراسات العليا في مختلف الاختصاصات. حقيقة جامعة تكريت تعرضت لبعض التخريب في فترة دخول عصابات داعش الإرهابية في عام 2014، فطالها ضرر كبير في بناها التحتية وفي مختبراتها، وبعد إعادة إعمارها، والآن حقيقة هي في كبير من الطلبة ومن طلبة الدراسات الأولية والعليا، وتم إعادة بناها التحتية. الحقيقة من خريجي الجامعات منها الجامعات البريطانية واللي عادوا تم زجهم في
دكتور الصوت شوية ضعيف يمك.
الآن واضح دكتور الصوت؟
أي نعم واضح. أي أحسنت.
نعم دكتور. فحقيقة لدينا خريجين من الجامعات البريطانية في مختلف التخصصات، واللي عادوا للعراق يعني في فترات مختلفة، والآن تم زجهم بالمفاصل الإدارية والعلمية للجامعة، والإفادة من خبراتهم حقيقة، والإفادة أيضا من التكنولوجيز اللي حصلوا عليها خلال دراستهم بهاي الجامعات البريطانية. كجامعة حقيقة تعرضت لهذا الضرر نتيجة يعني دخول عصابات داعش وما تبعها، تحتاج إلى بعض الدعم في مجالات. من هاي المجالات حقيقة مجال التريننج للأكاديميك ستاف، كذلك تحتاج حقيقة إلى دعم في مجال، بما أنه الآن حقيقة التعليم هو إلكتروني، فممكن أن نستغل هاي الفرصة. نحتاج إلى دعم جامعات البريطانية في مجال التدريس بالبوست جراجويت، مجالات يعني سواء الطبية أو الهندسية أو التخصصات الأخرى. إضافة إلى ذلك، إذا كان هناك برامج للبوست جراجويت ستاديز في جامعات البريطانية، أيضا نحتاج إلى دعم من هذا النوع، وكذلك المنح الدراسية. إذا كان يعني حقيقة يعني فرص تدريبية أو تطويرية، فلا بأس أن نطور كوادرنا من يعني على مستوى الماجستير والدكتوراه. حقيقة إضافة لهذا، ما أعرف هي هل أكو فرص يعني طلبتنا يعني على مستوى الدراسات الأولية، هل ممكن أنه تكون هناك برامج لتدريب على الأقل الأوائل من الجامعة، يعني في تخصصات معينة تدريبهم في جامعاتكم؟ فنحتاج حقيقة مثل هذه البرامج، يعني برامج على مستوى الدراسات الأولية، برامج على مستوى الدراسات العليا، وكذلك على مستوى الكادر التدريسي. حقيقة يعني هذا باختصار شديد يعني وضع الجامعة الحالي.
نعم.
واحتياجاتنا كجامعة، إذا كان بالممكن تلبية هاي الاحتياجات، حقيقة متفضلين. وشكرا على هاي الفرصة دكتور، وشكرا للإخوان المتحدثين من جامعاتكم ومن خريجينا من الجامعات البريطانية. شكرا للدكتور حامد.
أحسنتم دكتور. راح أترجم اللي تفضلت به يعني، بس قبل ما يعني أقوم بالترجمة، بس حبيت أجاوب بشكل مختصر على التساؤل اللي طرحته حضرتك. بالضبط هو هذا الهدف من إقامة هذه الشبكة من الخريجين، حتى توفر الفرصة للتواصل مع الجامعات البريطانية، من أجل خصوصا مثل ما تفضلت حضرتك هذه من الحمد لله اكو جوانب جيدة من هذا الوباء اللي احنا نعاني من عنده. اكو ايضا فد افرازات جيدة، وهو تطور التعليم الالكتروني وفرص اخرى للتواصل. هو هذا اللي تفضلت حضرتك به، انه دعم للستديز، للدراسات، برامج مشتركه بين الجامعات العراقيه والبريطانيه. هذا في صميم الهدف من هذه الشبكه، ولذلك نريد نستفاد من الناس اللي رجعوا، الطلاب اللي اكملوا دراساتهم ورجعوا الى مؤسساتهم. هذا جزء من واجبهم، هذا جزء من عمليه الاستفاده من عندهم، وشلون نقدر نحقق اقصى المكاسب من خلال هذا الاستثمار اللي سويناه كبلد. استثمر البلد كثيرا في هؤلاء الكفاءات، دربهم وتعب عليهم، فالواجب علينا ان نستفاد من عندهم باقصى درجه. فلربما الخطوه الاولى انه هذول الخريجين اللي رجعوا هي الدعوه الى اللقاء معهم والسماع انه كيف ممكن نفعل اواصر التواصل مع الجامعات اللي هم اجوا من عندها. احنا مثلا عندنا عدد من الجامعات اليوم موجوده، وراح اطرح عليها هذا التساؤل اللي تفضلت حضرتك به، وراح اتكلم الان باللغه الانجليزيه.
اشكرك دكتور، شكرا جزيلا.
So we have the president of Takrit University who shared with us some basic information about his university. It has 22 colleges, varying specialties, medicine, science, engineering, agriculture. They have 25,000 students in undergraduate studies and 5,000 in postgraduate studies. Unfortunately, Takrit University suffered with ISIS at the time when they invaded the parts of the country. However, it's enjoying now the benefit of the reconstructions, and life is coming back to how it should be. I think the main point that the president, the main message is really to look for opportunities to strengthen the academic collaboration between his university and British universities. And I encouraged the president to use the alumni to reach out. I mean, we have at least today we have 4 universities available on the call, on the conference, who might be interested in taking this opportunity forward. I think, like I mentioned earlier, it's unfortunate, it's tragic what we are going through with COVID-19, but like any adversities, we can get positives out of it as well. And that's the development in the educational and the communication and using the virtual conferences. I mean, today is a really good example. As Christoph has mentioned earlier, this is the 3rd attempt of holding this conference. Unfortunately, it looks like 3rd time lucky. We were able to do it. It was a challenge to do it in Baghdad in December physically, and it was a challenge to do it in London in March physically. But today, with the support from the Ministry of Higher Education, with the support of IBBC, we are able to hold this conference and host you today. So this is really a good example of what Dr. Waad, the president of Takrit University, is that to take this forward, what opportunities we're having. Any other contribution? If I may just really reiterate what Professor Hamid and Christoph has mentioned about this network. The whole idea is that these are human resource that have a lot of investment from both from Iraq as well as from the British universities invested in those people. And this human resource is really achieved to significant levels, and they have done really well. Like shared with you some of the figures from my own university, how successful those students were and are. I think the onus is on us to make full use of those, to fulfill the full potential of this human resource and skills. And that's by making sure that the environment for them when they go to Iraq is conducive and it is positive for them to deliver what they are supposed to be delivering. In addition to that, where they studied, with the universities they studied and the country they studied, there are plenty of opportunities for collaboration. And I think it would be a real shame if we don't fulfill that collaboration. I mean, we've heard today from some of the universities telling us about the work they have done, and they are prepared to do even more work if the right arrangement is in place. And we have the agents, we have those students who can come and contribute and facilitate this collaboration. And to complement the picture, we have the business world who are also on the look for human resource within Iraq rather than having to go and import and bring expertise from outside Iraq. So it is really a win-win situation for everybody if we can make sure that this human resource can fulfill their potential and make best use of the time. So that would be the main objective of this network. We're hoping that they will organize both inside Iraq and outside Iraq, and through their links with the university they studied, high-level meetings to achieve further collaboration between institutions in Iraq and in the UK. And above all, it's really the peer support. We know that we function better when we have people around us who share so much in common. And the students who studied in the UK came from Iraq, regardless what part of Iraq. They have so much in common. They have so much learning. They went through it together. And really, we should provide them with the opportunity to share that learning. The IBBC is very supportive of this coming together, but the IBBC can only provide the opportunity. With the asking that we are making to the Ministry of Higher Education and any other organization, we are asking them to help, but it really remains the ownership. This network belongs to the students themselves or the graduates themselves. And it is upon them to organize themselves and make sure they have the right structure to support each other, and also reach out to governmental or non-governmental organization with a voice that is clearly heard for the interest of both Iraq and benefiting the UK as well. So I think what I'm saying is that the IBBC is happy to provide the secretarial support through our office, through the IBBC office in Baghdad, represented by its director, Mr. Mohammed Al-Khattab. And we will be looking forward to the alumni to organize themselves and make sure that they have the right structure. One of the things that we would like to see in the coming weeks is ideas about the shape of this structure. And I will be more than happy to work together with Mohammed and colleagues from the alumni to start producing the shape of this structure. I know that colleagues have already done a lot of work, and it is not easy. But I think we have two of the colleagues who have led on this work before, and they might want to share with us some of their experience. Dr. Ziad and Dr. Mu'taz, is there anything you would like to contribute?
Yes, thank you very much, Professor Mohammed. I will talk a little bit and then we'll leave it to Mu'taz. First, thank you very much for organizing this, and many thanks to Professor Hamid for being here, because he is the key player in sorting out all the obstacles that we are facing. I will talk both in Arabic and English just to allow the Arabic speakers and to save time. First, let's leave the blue sky planning away. And I'm an engineer and a consultant, so please forgive my direct point, going to the point directly. We have three main obstacles. عندنا ثلاث معوقات رئيسية. First, and I can share my screen with you, and this is inherited from the previous administrators. And if I share my screen now, give me 1 second. Can you all see my screen? Can you see my screen, Professor Mohammed?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah. So for Arabic speakers, you know that this is in 2017. In English, it says that the Minister of Higher Education in 2017, April the 2nd, 2017, said that graduates from foreign universities are not allowed to be given any leave that is longer than the annual leave. And not only the graduates, but also their families are prohibited and prevented from traveling outside Iraq. This is still there, and no one canceled this general director order. And this is the main obstacle that we are facing. As Dr. Isra said, and Inas as well said, and Mu'taz will say that, we all managed to get postdocs. We all managed to get into teams to secure grants. However, when we come to apply, we have been faced with these obstacles. This is the first one. The second one is that to prevent them from applying for the 5 years leave. So if we want to be practical and go directly to the point, we have some gatekeepers in our way. And I strongly believe that the new government and the new ministry, and also having Dr. Hamid in the ministry now, because he's one of the key players and enablers for the Iraqi higher education program and the scholarship program and HCED as well. So if we want to sort these things out, we have first eliminate those administrative obstacles. Second, we have to sit together with the UK universities and try to come up with a mechanism for mutual management of grants. Because, you know, in Iraq now, we cannot. In the UK, if a professor secured the grant, he will be responsible for spending the money. He is the one who decided who are the postdocs and who are the PhD students. بالعربي احنا بالعراق الكثير من المبتعثين اللي عادوا نجحوا بأنه يحصلون على دراسات ما بعد الدكتوراه، ونجحوا بأنه يحصلون على تمويل بحثي. هذا التمويل البحثي يعود بفائدة كبيرة على الجامعات، لكنه بعض الكتب الرسمية القديمة اللي هي من 2017 وقبل 2017 كانت في وقتها، هذه الكتب أصدرت لظروف في وقتها، لكنه الآن الغالبية العظمى عادوا، والآن ما عندنا برامج ابتعاث. فهذه الكتب المفروض تحذف، المفروض الوزارة تعيد النظر بها. الأمر الآخر موضوع إدارة التمويل. يعني احنا من نحصل على تمويل مع جامعة بريطانية، التمويل يدار من قبل من حصلوا عليه. لا توجد عندنا آلية داخل الجامعة. طبعا هذا مو مشكلة الوزارة ولا مشكلة الجامعات، هاي مشكلة تشريعية. لا توجد تشريعات تسمح للدكتور العراقي أنه يدير التمويل بإيده بدون الرجوع إلى سلسلة المراجع. لهذا احنا نحتاج نجلس مع الجامعات العراقية مع البريطانية لإيجاد ميكانيزم أو إيجاد آلية معينة. أنا أكتفي بهذا القدر، وأعتقد hand over to Dr. Mu'taz. And thank you very much for having us today and for giving us the platform to speak. And it's nice to see our Newcastle fellows who are dominating the audience today. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ziad. And it's good to hear from the people who went through the system and they know the system. So we can, because we are all great believers, the best people who can change the system, who are the people who are in the system and they went through the system. Thank you. Dr. Mu'taz?
Yes, thank you, Professor Mohammed. It's actually lovely seeing so many familiar faces and everybody on board today. It's also great seeing Dr. Hamid again. He's been one of the people who spearheaded the entire program the entire program of sending Iraqi students again. So Iraq has come so far, like in resuming its effort to opening up to the world after the liberation. However, it hasn't been a very straightforward journey due to a number of political and financial challenges that we are all aware of. However, moving forward, I think it's clear that there is a mutual interest in pursuing these efforts between Iraq, represented by Mohisar, and also the UK, represented by IBSC and the network of the interested universities and the Iraqi alumni. So now thinking systematically in a way that can help everybody, let's address the challenge and how we can approach it. And well, you guys heard my engineer friend approaching it very bluntly. I guess as a medical scientist, I like to diagnose the problem and then provide the solution for it. So I guess it has never been an overstatement to say that Iraqi students left a very good impression out of their discipline and dedication. Moreover, they are top scholars based on the very rigorous yet fair selection criteria. So what Iraq is interested in is, and I'm not here to speak on behalf of Dr. Hamid, who is absolutely the one is leading the effort, but it's reestablishing the international credibility and reputation through climbing up on international rank, etc. Now, how this can be achieved, we need more impactful and peer-reviewed and international networks. The challenging that Iraq is currently facing, which is not a secret, is the current funding situation that prevents Iraq from resuming its scholarship program, and also the legislation that it is outdated and never been made up to cope up with a fast-paced moving world. So how we're gonna do this one is by reestablishing certain programs like the sabbatical leave, the international collaboration, giving those scholars the freedom to reconnect and bring in the benefits. Now the challenging against that, of course, these outdated rules like the one that Ziad nicely presented, and also these are preventing the alumni from gaining their independence and freedom, since they need to go through like a lot of this work that could be quite challenging. So they need to be like more flexible and accommodated to the current needs. Now what the UK side will benefit, because we've been all just talking about what we're gonna gain out of them, and it's not a fair equation in here. I guess they'll get top scholar who's been trained in there, who are willing to support and drive research forward. This becomes, in terms of grants, money, and publication, helping these UK universities maintaining or even improving the current status with REF, with other schemes, which becomes more challenging than ever as well. So what we need, and I'm gonna first start mentioning that in English, but then I will translate that in Arabic as well, is we need some help in granting visas, because there's certain restrictions on the Iraqi scholars, and we need to be dealt with the trust on the UK side out to our proven track records of being respectful to the rules, leaving on time, never been overstated, doing all the good deeds in there. So that should be something to be recognized and addressed, especially now the UK after Brexit. Being more international is an important area that they need to cover. Now, what we need from the Iraqi side and all the people on the top in there is helping us with the flexibility to the alumni to travel, to gain the flexibility, and again, to be dealt with the trust based on their proven track records. Everybody on board today has been fulfilling their requirement coming back to Iraq based on the contract, and now is the time actually to move forward. So بالعربي احنا نشكر الجميع، البروفيسور محمد الأزري، البروفيسور حامد على الحضور، كل السادة الموجودين. المعوقات اللي تواجهنا اكو بصراحه فقدان ثقه بالمبتعثين، يتم معامله المبتعث على انه مشكوك فيه الى ان تثبت اخلاص نواياه، وهاي بصراحه مو طريقه عمل بها توب تير سكولرز. الاشخاص اللي بصراحه رادوا يتنصلون من كثير من الامور هم الاشخاص اللي تنصلوا منها بالفعل، اما الاشخاص اللي مثلنا احنا بصراحه نحارب حتى انه نستفاد، وبنفس الوقت ترى نفيد الدوله من خلال انه البحوث اللي تنشر في جامعات عالميه، في بحوث تنشر في مراكز بحثيه. العراق لا زال جدا متاخر عنها ولا نملك الفاسيلتيز، واحنا يجب انه ندرك شنو المشكله حتى نتجه باتجاه الحل. الطريقه الاسهل اللي حاليا عندنا ما ممكن ننقل بريطانيا الى العراق، بالسرعة خصوصا بالظروف الحالية. لذلك انه احنا ممكن نشارك هؤلاء السكولرز مع الابقاء على التزاماتهم التعاقديه والابقاء على حقوق الدوله والابقاء على كل شيء. هؤلاء اشخاص ديسيبلين اثبتوا نفسهم انه ممكن يعملون على اعلى المستويات وباخلاص وبتفاني. ونلاحظ يعني دكتور حامد ممكن راح يعلق بالاخير على قد انه الرانك للجامعات العراقيه بدا يرتفع بالسنوات الثلاثه او الاربعه الاخيره. طبعا هذه كلها كونتريبيوتد للاشخاص اللي هم اغلبهم ناشرين بحوث في جامعات عالميه. بالاضافه احنا ما نريد ننظر فقط الى موضوع البحوث، ننظر كذلك الى موضوع الجرانتس والانترناشونال ريبيوتيشن والانترناشونال نتورك. فبالملخص هذه النقاط اللي اتمنى ان شاء الله تذكر بالتوصيات. و thank you so much all for the listening and giving me the platform.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mu'taz, for sharing with us some of your journey and your views. They are much appreciated. Any of the other audience are interested in contributing? Any comments?
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Muhammad. Can I have a short stay, please?
Wa alaikum assalam, Dr. Hassan. Ahlan wa sahlan.
Thank you. Well, thank you for organizing such a nice conference, the IBBC conference. And I'm very happy to see some of my friends, my colleagues during our studies in the UK. I listened to my colleagues' challenges and sayings, which they focus on continuing to do research and studies in the UK. However, I want to look at the other side of our contributions in the universities, that we could do things in our universities. For those who don't know me, I'm Hassan Al-Musawi. I did my MSc and PhD at Nottingham University in the major of Civil Engineering Transportation. And I'm currently working as a lecturer at Al-Nahyan University in Civil Engineering Department. We can do changes. This is the main thing I want to say. We can do changes in the curricula. We can do changes in the way that we teach students. We learned a lot from our period that we studied in the UK, and we can do changes. However, these changes are not very well seen, but I think it is impacted on our students, and we can do research. Although it is not of a high quality, that the same that we did in the UK, but however we can do it, and we did. For myself and I can see some of my colleagues, they did and published high quality research in a good journal. We can organize lots of things. We can organize conferences. We can organize meetings. We can organize. I did for some parts of my journey. We can make our students know what is going on in the UK. I did arrange some of video conference lectures with my BSc students from professors in the UK through the video conference. So we can do things, but the challenges that we are facing is the traditional or the classical system of the ministry, that we can't do a lot. For example, the ministry is focusing on the quality assurance, that they name it quality assurance, but in fact they are focusing on just administrative things that are not getting the benefits to the university, as we saw in the UK universities. For example, for myself, I did arrange, and I came up with a long journey for organizing a twinning program with an Australian university, and we did study the topics and the courses, and all of a sudden we heard a decision from the previous minister that a training program is closed. Such efforts that we did is cancelled in one say or in one decision from the minister. Things that we can do in our jobs is to improve our laboratories. However, the laboratories are not very well provided, but we can do arrangements in our laboratories. I hope the ministry can benefit from the alumni, especially those who graduated from well-known universities like in the UK or the US, to get involved with the decisions that they made. We can see some of the decisions that we can't actually follow or do changes with such decisions from the ministry. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to give a speech or to give such challenges and things. Thank you, Professor Al-Uzri, and thank you for my college. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hassan. I'm pleased that we have the contribution from one of the Baghdad universities. So it's good to have you contribution. And a welcome to Dr. Haydar Al-Atabi اللي شاركنا اليوم بس أهلا وسهلا دكتور.
أهلا أستاذ. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الاساتذه الافاضل، انا اعتذر حقيقه على تاخر الدخول بسبب اشكال في الرابط. الحمد لله قدرنا ندخل ونسلم عليكم.
اهلا وسهلا.
حقيقه سعادتنا مثل
بعد جهد جهيد دكتور حيدر. الحمد لله. المهم يو ميد ات.
صار اكثر من ساعه استاذي والله. اشكرك.
انا دا استلم الواتساب مسجز مالتك بس منتبه فما اقدر ارد عليك، يعني اعتذر.
هو استاذ يعني كل شوق طبعا بس اسلم عليكم وردت، يعني هذا حقيقه اخواننا الاعزاء.
شكرا.
حقيقه اساتذتنا يمثل هذا اللقاء، يعني اخواننا الاساتذه العراقيين في الولايات المتحده حقيقه مهم ومد جسور التقويه والتعاون المشترك المثمر كله يصب في خدمه العمليه التعليميه في ظروف هذه الجائحه حقيقه قاسيه. اساتذتنا ما اعرف، انا حقيقه ما تواصلت وياكم بدايه، يعني نحب ان نثمن جهودكم والتعاون من رسانه التعليم في العراق. عندنا بعض المتطلبات للمجلس العراقي الاستاذ محمد الأزري. حقيقه الاستاذ محمد له باع طويل في التعامل مع المجلس العراقي وله جهود مميزه في اقامه الدورات ومعروف على مستوى المجلس العراقي كل اساتذه حقيقه ودائما يشيدون به لحد الان الاستاذ محمد الأزري.
هذا من لطفك دكتور.
الله يحفظك استاذ. يعني بعض النقاط استاذ يعني حقيقه نحب من هذا التعاون يكون مع الجامعات البريطانيه وبوجودكم طبعا. نحققها المجلس العراقي اذا كان يمكن، يعني مهما يكون نقدر نحقق من عنده. يعني مثلا نحب مثلا استاذنا العزيز يعني تدريب طلبه المجلس العراقي اختصاصات طبيه، يعني ايجاد اتفاقيات مع جامعات بريطانيه او مستشفيات بريطانيه. تدريب طلبه المجلس يعني شورت كورسز بين 3 to 6 months، يعني يكون التدريب صيغه هاند اون. يعني نحاول نلقى في التسهيلات من حضرتكم شلون نقدر ندخل هذا الفيلد
ان شاء الله
طلابنا
ان شاء الله. دكتور
نعم
دكتور، هذا الموضوع اني متحدث به ويا دكتور حامد.
نعم.
هناك بالبدايه خليني اعتذر. Apologies for colleagues who are not speaking Arabic, but I just need to answer a question from a colleague from Iraq, the head of the Iraqi Board for Medical Specialization. الدكتور أنا تكلمت بهذا الموضوع، ويحتاج إنه أكو فرصة موجودة لهذا التدريب. إن شاء الله نرتب لقاء أيضا يعني افتراضي مثل هذا، ونحكي شوية أكثر بالتفاصيل كيفية الاستفادة من هاي الفرصة اللي موجودة.
أستاذ تحب نحكيهم بالإنجليزي جماعة حتى يعرفون الموضوع؟ حول على الإنجليزي.
قلت لهم أكو there is a scheme it's called the Medical Training Initiative وتكلمت به ويا دكتور حامد. إن شاء الله نتناوله في لقاء خاص حتى لأنه هذه لها خصوصية أكثر. بقية الجامعات والمواضيع التعاون الأكاديمي. بس ان شاء الله اذا تحب نرتب لقاء خاص.
والله يا ريت استاذ اكو موضوع مهم اخر هو يعني to help our medical college to get international accreditation training courses that this is very important. الله يحفظكم
ان شاء الله.
وعندنا
عندنا في اللقاء خاص بخصوص
والله استاذي اكو بعد نقاط حترك اللقاء الخاص ان شاء الله استاذنا راح احكي بس الموضوع لان الوقت ما يكون ضيق صار اصبح حاليا. ممنون منك استاذ محمد اشكرك.
السبب الاخر كونها الاختصاصات الطبيه لها خصوصيه، كونها يعني مو فقط بالجامعات وانما لازم يصير تعامل مع الكليات الملكيه، فان شاء الله هذا نتكلم به في فرصه ثانيه.
اوكي استاذ.
شكرا جزيلا على حضورك دكتور.
اشكرك استاذ منكم من الحضور. Thank you sir. Thank you.
Okay. One of the requirement for a good chair is to finish in time, and I always try to be a good chair. So I will hand over to Professor Hamid for concluding remarks before concluding this conference.
شكرا جزيلا دكتور محمد, and I extend my thanks to all colleagues from different British universities as well as our alumni, the enthusiasts and the dedicated people who really impressed me with their enthusiasm and dedication and their willingness to contribute to develop Iraqi education sector and others. Before my concluding remark, Dr. Muhammad, I would like really to touch upon some of the points that other colleagues raised. First of all, I would like really from Professor Ali from the Northampton University to elaborate more through IBBC about his joint PhD supervision program. And this is quite important and timely, given the financial constraint in Iraq. So I would like to have more of that, and then we will suggest it to the Iraqi universities, and hopefully they will benefit from this model, how we could build a 2+2 or 3+1 or whatever model is, joining PhD supervision program as well as joint MSc program. This is quite important and it's quite relevant for the time being. The other points that raised by, I don't know, I think Karim left the meeting, as I understand. Yes. I have some advice for him being appointed as education advisor for the Prime Minister, giving my experience, but this is, I will talk to him later on these issues. I think Inas, Asra, these two girls who raised quite a bit difficulties and hurdles, and I think in Asra word, it need to change our ministry mentality. And let me assure her that we are in the process of changing this mentality, though it's not an easy task. It is, as Ziad mentioned and put some of the letters from the directive from the ministry, we have an issue and a problem with the legislative and law, which is outdated and put a lot of constraint on our alumni or our doctors who want to have a grant or want to do some research. I mean, I was struggling really for the last few months to get open account for the university chancellors in bank, and Minister of Finance didn't allow us. So the ministry, I mean, all our universities, they don't have actually bank account. So if they want to apply for a fund or whatever, it should have to come through the ministry or through the Minister of
finance, and we lost in bureaucracy. So there is a lot of hurdles, a lot of administrative obstacles which prevent really our universities and our staff to collaborate with the counterpart abroad. But we are working on it, and especially as Dr. Matt has mentioned as well, and his suggestion and his recommendation, I think, is important, and I would like him to put all these recommendation as a recommendation for this conference, and we will raise it with the ministry and through other ministries. I mean, it is not an easy, it is a difficult task. As I always say in my speech and talking with other people who want things to be quickly like in the West, it's not like that in Iraq. It is, and as we said, that democracy is evolution, not revolution. It needed time in order to establish smooth systems for Iraq to make these obstacles, difficulties in a way that our students, our postgraduate, our alumni could really benefit from the experience that they got, and they should get that to be sustained. But because by the end of the day, our universities can't actually succeed and proceed without their talent and their new blood. But let them rest assured we will work as much as we can to facilitate their work, to facilitate their noble work for their universities, for their own ambition and aspiration, and by the end of the day, really for the development of Iraq. As I say, it's not an easy, it needs a collaborative effort and work, and we hope that jointly we all need to be patient but also resilient to achieve that goals. I'm very glad, Professor Muhammad, for this meeting, for all our talented alumni who presented their work in a very enthusiastic and very really impressive way. And we promise them that we will do from our side as much as we can to help them achieve their goals, and by the end of the goal of their universities and the country. And I hope this is not only one stop off. We want to continue with work on a mechanism, and I think IBBC, Chris, if he's around, we want really as quickly as possible, Professor Muhammad, to establish a secretariat to facilitate that collaboration. Thank you very much, Professor Muhammad, and I hope I'm like you want to keep to the time. So it's left 2 minutes for you then. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I plan not to use them all. Again, thank you very much, Professor Hamid. Your presence today is a strong message, together with the colleagues, with the head of universities and the Iraqi Board of Specialization. This is really a very strong message from the ministry in terms of supporting this network. I would like to thank the IBBC again for taking the initiative and supporting this extremely important and useful human resource that Iraq has for the benefit of both countries, Iraq and UK. I would like to thank all the contributors today from the university groups, the members of the university group and the members of the IBBC who shared with us their perspective today. And above all, I would like to thank the alumni, because it is for you, it is by you, and you are the core of this. It is your opportunity. You can make of it whatever you like. We are here just to facilitate, whether IBBC, whether the ministry, we are here to support you. I will stop there, and I wish you a very good evening. And the next step is that the recommendation will go on your behalf into the ministry. Thank you very much again to all of you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Professor Mohammed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.